Welcome back. Everyone in Delhi believes he's a VIP, or at least related to a very VIP. Well, this VIP Gunda culture was on full display in its most dangerous and fearsome form at an upscale South Delhi pub. A bunch of rich super brats got into a full-blown fight with the club staff. Their personal security officers brandished guns. Despite the brawl, these super brats are absconding, and the cops seem to be allowing this to happen. This is not the first such instance. Several other such instances have also happened. Despite that, people with red beacons they shouldn't have on their cars, with private security officers brandishing automatic weapons which they ought not to be carrying, which is a clear violation of the Arms Act, are roaming free on the streets of Delhi. Take a look at this shocking and scary video.
It's a miracle that nobody died here. A terrifying pub brawl caught on CCTV camera in one of Delhi's most upscale party zones. A group of Delhi super brats and their personal security wielding lethal weapons and leading a violent riot-like attack on pub staff for barring their entry with armed security. A month after this murderous face-off took place, none of those responsible has faced justice yet. In these disturbing images, what you perhaps can't see are the faces of the thugs. This is the main accused in the attack, Parth Wadia, the son of a wealthy liquor baron, posing here at the same pub along with a posse of affluent friends. Shivam Gupta and Kabir Sheikh, also implicated in the brawl. Along with Parth Wadia that night was Sameer Khurana. Both were denied anticipatory bail today and are now technically absconding until their arrest.
दोनों पार्टीज का आपस में सहमति से बिना किसी प्रेशर के कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो चुका है और 307 इसमें बनती नहीं है, 323 बनती मैक्सिमम और 341 बोथ बेलेबल ऑफेंस हैं। और जब कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो गया है तो इस बात को प्रेसिपिटेट करने की जरूरत नहीं थी। और दूसरा, इन्वेस्टिगेशन, क्योंकि इंटरम बेल दी है इनको, इन्वेस्टिगेशन ये ज्वाइन कर चुके हैं, किसी भी कस्टोडियल इंटेरोगेशन के लिए ये रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है। बट इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी ये कह रही है कि हमें एक पीएसओ है जिसने ये रिवॉल्वर दिखाया है, उसको पकड़ना है। हमने उसके बारे में भी बता दिया कि वो पीएसओ हमारा नहीं है।
While main accused Parth Wadia and his friends face imminent arrest, another main accused, Ranvijay Lochav, son of a former Congress MLA, remains at large.
The Patiala House Court today rejected the anticipatory bail plea of Parth Wadia and Sameer Khurana, two of the main accused in the Vasant Kunj pub brawl case. Now, it was an interesting twist in the case when Parth Wadia went on from becoming the witness in this entire incident to one of the main accused after the police officials reviewed the CCTV footage acquired from the pub. Now, it is this CCTV footage which is argued in the court to be very crucial and clinching evidence against these main accused.
Parth and his friends belong to Delhi's most powerful set, supremely wealthy, impulsive and fully comfortable breaking the law. As this video of dangerous speeding in a Bentley outside Delhi, proudly posted by Parth on social media, shows. The super brat absconders are out there. Their arrest imminent. Can they continue to evade the law? With Jaskirat Singh Bawa in Delhi, Shujoy, Headlines Today.
The Arms Act of India says you cannot carry weapons and use them in an act of aggression. You can only use them for self-defense. These private security officers have absolutely no business to be allowed to carry these weapons. And you've got them trying to barge into pubs, trying to muscle their way in. And the cops are not clamping down, because this is not the first such instance. There have been several other instances. What can we do to try and clamp down on this whole business of super brats, this culture of tu janta hai mera baap kaun hai? Joining us on center stage tonight, Dr. Kiran Bedi, one of India's most respected police officers, Neelam Katara. With us also at this time, socialite image consultant Dilip Cherian. With me in the studio, Captain Ravi, CEO of Fireball Securitas, one of the big security agencies and seen by many as the villain in the piece. I want to go across first and foremost Neelam Katara, because it's just very coincidental and very fortunate that nobody died in this massive pub brawl at a huge, very popular mall in South Delhi, in the heart of the residential area of Delhi. You've got people barging in. Now, this is something similar to what happened many years ago in the Jessica Lal case. It's fortunate that nothing went wrong, but it could just so easily have turned very violent.
Absolutely. I mean, this is there's a whole bit of deja vu in this, because this could have turned violent, somebody could have died, and of course the same whatever's happening after that is also you know, so easily recognizable that people have gone absconding. They will try to get a bail, and then they will engage lawyers, eminent lawyers, who will keep on dragging the case forever and ever, and it will go out of media view, and then it will you know, just die a natural death, because here I don't see who's going to stand and fight this case on behalf of the bouncers, if you may, but actually it needs to be fought on behalf of the people of this city. Why are we being exposed to
because
these?
we're already seeing, Dr. Bedi, a lot of coercion. The lawyer of the accused says a settlement has already been arrived at. Naturally, there's much pressure on the bouncers of the pub who were stationed outside when these goons came in. Now, how do we ensure that justice is done in this case and that these super brats are not allowed to get away with this nonsense?
Very rightly said, as Neelam very correctly, and you've shown it, the lawyer has already stepped in. So these people can afford battery of lawyers vis-a-vis our overworked prosecutor and our investigating officer. So the police comes under immediately a pressure of a battery of lawyers. But that may come anyway. But why were these brats not arrested under preventive sections of law, under 107, 151? That's the benefit of being a police commissioner. And if this was in Gurgaon, was it in Gurgaon?
No,
or
this
was
is
it
in
Delhi?
Vasant Kunj in South Delhi.
Oh, perfect. Then the Delhi police was very competent to arrest them under 107, 151. That's apprehension of breach of peace. And also move for cancellation of license of those people who were accompanying them.
Why is this not being done? What you're suggesting is so obvious. Now, one of these brats is Parth Wadia, grandson of liquor baron Babu Kishan Lal Wadia. The other is Ranvijay Lochav, son of a former MLA Vijay Lochav. Now, the police are aware of the fact that it's become a fashion statement now to be brandishing these automatic weapons, to have a beacon on your car. Madam, why doesn't the police clamp down on this? Why is this being allowed to spread in this fashion?
I'm quite amazed. What should the police be afraid of? It's just a matter of doing the right thing, upholding the law. But you see, this has to be in practice all the time. There is a culture of overawing the police by show of muscle power, money power, VIP power, political power, influence power. This is real. This is reality of today. But you got to be one above them. Got to be strong in conviction and stand by your colleagues, because police does come under pressure when it takes on the powers that be. All it needs is guts, courage. And I think that doesn't come so easy, and that is not in practice. And you can't be practicing cowardice or submission at one time and suddenly courage on another. It's a personality trait. You then follow one pattern where you give in all the time, or you do not give up any time.
But Dilip Cherian,
take stand,
as a Delhiite, what scares me is that this is not happening at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the wee hours of the morning. This is happening at 10, 12. Right when people are out thinking that they're safe, you've got all these people coming in. Since you travel as much as you do through the capital, explain how much of a problem do you think, in your experience, this culture of super brats and their PSUs has become?
This city's, adrenaline comes from the 3 M's: money, muscle men, and mantri connections. And unfortunately, the police are at the receiving end of much of this pressure. Fortunately, we have a police commissioner who is actually someone who's grown up in Delhi and he understands the culture of Delhi. So this is a good time to crack down, because on the one hand you have a central government which in a sense controls the Delhi police, which is happy to crack down on this, and this is the time when this culture seems to have blown out of proportions in terms of its prevalence. The fact is that you can see people who are bodyguards of people who are important with suspicious bulges under their safari suits, and this carrying of weapons has become almost a style statement even among the young, and very often their parents, who are actually responsible for giving them this culture, have given them weapons, or they've taken their parents' weapons allegedly for self-defense. So it's become a part of, like packing a pistol.
No, but let's just try, Captain Ravi, to understand the financials of this, because I was just reading up. One armed security guard at the very least costs 30,000 rupees a month, plus boarding, lodging, food. And these people have 35 of them, which means that 10 lakh rupees every month is being spent just in a show of strength. Now, why are companies like yours not getting together and preventing this menace from spreading?
You see, companies are businesses, and the decision of running the business lies on the promoters. 2 cases came to me in last 3 months. One former member of parliament, I will hold the name, chairman of a very prominent university, asked for armed PSOs from my company, and I was under pressure. I carried a bit of due diligence, and I found that the so-called chairman is fond of not paying his vendors and the parties, and he wanted my PSOs to refrain, to restrict the parties to come inside his office. I took 3 months to refuse this with great difficulty. So it is what we have to choose. I have more cases where I get a requisition. I got a requisition from a party in Karol Bagh who had some tiff with their family members. They wanted PSOs, armed PSOs in Noida and various else. I asked them, I said, no, you can't afford firstly, and you can't handle this.
You're saying on TV that you reject such offers. But Neelam Katara, there are so many people who run dubious security agencies who are more than willing to provide whatever it is that the client needs. Surely everyone has to get together, voices have to be raised, and action has to be taken against these companies, because they don't even have the right. They're not licensed to, they're not authorized to provide armed security guards. The whole business is illegal, and just look at the manner in which it's spreading, Ms. Katara.
Certainly they need a crackdown on this. I mean, if the government has to give you a security guard, a PSO, then they do a whole recce to see whether you really need security. But you can just engage a private security guard without justifying to anyone that you need a security guard. So I think we need a system where these agencies need to be investigated, licensed, and then again, who is the security PSO being sent out to or sent out with, and how many PSOs a person, even a private PSO, how many a person can keep, and he needs to have a reason for doing it. So at least, just for parading them around as a sign of strength should go completely, and I think we need another law, and then of course the wherewithals to implement it, that people should not be allowed to
No, but I don't know whether the problem is with the law, because we spoke to a police officer who deals with security agencies, and he says, Ms. Bedi, that under the Private Security Agency Regulation Act of 2005, the Delhi government gives licenses for various agencies, but there are only 400 agencies that are registered, and apparently there are more than 3,500 agencies that exist without permission. Less than 20% have guards with licenses. 80% of the guards are roaming around with weapons for which they don't have licenses, and even the license allows them to use that weapon only in self-defense. You can't brandish it and say, I'll shoot you unless you back down.
That's a whole vacuum area, which means it requires a systemic enforcement, and the licensing department is with the Delhi police. So the arms licensing is with Delhi police under the police commissioner system. They can frame new rules and they can make regulations. The police commissioner can frame rules under section 144. He's authorized to do that. So he can he can issue certain instructions and orders to fill in these vacuum areas. I think you are exposing, this incident is exposing an area probably not addressed enough. And that I think the police headquarters must take cognizance of. Not only police commissioner, the lieutenant governor's office. I think it's the lieutenant governor's office and the police commissioner combined, because the police reports to the lieutenant governor. I think it's important that the lieutenant governor watches this program, calls for a meeting, fills in all areas which are silent or grey areas concerning security agencies and these PSOs brandishing weapons, and then complete. I think this is what needs to be addressed.
No, but
this program is exposing.
No, but Ms. Bedi, what you're suggesting is so obvious and something that ought to be done. We're doing this show 1 month after this incident took place. It's only now that we've been able to secure access to these pictures, which really prove the mayhem that unfolded. The Lieutenant Governor and the Delhi Police Commissioner should by now have already taken stringent action against these security agencies, but nothing has been done. It's almost as if it doesn't matter. It's almost as if they're waiting for the next Jessica Lal case to come to take place.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. If you had not exposed it, none of us knew about this. Now, and there is no pressure on the Delhi government or the Delhi administration to step in and plug these loopholes. And security agencies' issue is not fresh. It's been lying pending for so long. Why should it have taken so long for the Lieutenant Governor's and the police headquarters office to have plugged in?
What concerns me is that there is no regulation which puts a cap on how many PSOs you can have. So this group had 35 PSOs, which is more than what most people who who have terror threats, who've been given security by the government are actually entitled to. You know, you can have a convoy as big as that of the United States President or the Indian Prime Minister or the Indian President and roam around pretending, you know, with these red beacons flashing as if some really important person is is driving on that road. Someone somewhere needs to put an end to this madness, Dilip.
And I think this is a good time to do it, because there is also simultaneously a power vacuum in Delhi. So I think Kiran has done the right thing by pointing out that the Lieutenant Governor has had a month to act. He should be acting very fast. But this is a city where mine is bigger than yours is the basic culture. So essentially having the last guy having 35 will obviously create a demand on the security agents to provide a posse of 40 to the next lunatic who has the money to do this kind of thing. So I think we need to crack down on this, but that's only cracking down on the symptoms of the problem. The problem needs to be cracked down at the levels of carrying arms, which is easy to check. In fact, police personnel should be checking security guards who are there near the venues of such places in random checks. That will already expose both the agencies who are not licensed as well as the characters who are carrying guns who should not be carrying
Captain
guns.
Ravi, as an insider in this industry, explain to me what can be done to ensure that the industry is better regulated and that what happened at Keya doesn't get repeated elsewhere, because this is very, very scary and it's something that can happen any number of times given the number of people with guns who are roaming around our streets.
Yeah, Rahul, this is a very interesting question and thank you for asking me. Let me tell you the facts. The Arms Act has been completely enforced by the Commissioner of Mumbai Police. 6 months ago, he ensured that not even a single armed guard hired by a private security agency floats around in Mumbai. You can check.
Why doesn't Delhi Commissioner do that?
Well, it is his choice. Because the Arms Act very clearly clarifies the issue of license basically majorly now for personal defense. Earlier it used to be given for hunting and bomb and show, which has now been discontinued. So one is that. Number two, private security agencies are not supposed to have armed licenses. Basically they are providing to the banks, and earlier banks used to have ex-servicemen and ex-servicemen were trained to deal with weapons, so the banks were directly hiring them. Now slowly ex-servicemen are not available, so banks are taking from the private security agencies. Still okay, the police supports that, though indirectly. Private Security Agencies Regulation Act has a clause that the armed guards have to be trained. Howsoever, it does not clarify the position of the Arms Act in terms of using it against somebody else's property or to defend somebody else, right? Second, these bouncers are not sure that they were given by a security agency. They could have been hired directly also. Now, the end user is not sure as to what he's hiring. There are a lot of ex-servicemen floating around the market who know how to protect the subject, right? The aim is going there not to kill. Now on the other side, if you talk about the defender, do you need really bouncers? No. A 5-foot man with a pepper spray will keep the attacker away by 2 meters. And once he uses one pepper spray, 20 people cannot stand in that area for next 3 hours. Why this show of firstly having bouncers in a discotheque? Why do you let the intruder come so close? In a movie hall, you have your counter somewhere else. In a discotheque, you have a counter somewhere else. You issue the tickets there or the passes there, electronically control the door, nobody can force him.
But all of what is being suggested by Captain Ravi, Dr. Bedi, are perfectly sensible ideas. But our police commissioner, unlike the Mumbai police commissioner and our governor, seem to be sleeping on the job, completely oblivious of the challenges and waiting for disaster to take place.
I think there's something seriously missing. I think there's some regulations concerning security agencies is missing. I think it's been pending for long. I'm not up to date on this, but we need to find out. I suspect that there's something which is pending for long at some level, but I would squarely put this in the court of the Lieutenant Governor, because there are some Delhi government agencies and departments also concerned with this work. So it needs a coordination of work between Delhi Police Headquarters and Delhi government departments, and that the Lieutenant Governor would be able to finalize some pending rules and regulations, because I believe security agencies are also very disturbed of not being registered properly and not being able to function. To my mind, as a former cop, all I can tell you that security agencies, if properly aligned with the functioning of the police, is a gold mine, because they are in alignment, because in the end they are doing crime prevention. But they're not supposed to be doing bouncing and showing and toting weapons. So that means there is something which is missing, which needs to be addressed, and I think the lot of homework needs to be corrected. Something on the lines of Bombay Police.
Well, B.S. Bassi, our police commissioner, and also the Lieutenant Governor, Najib Jang, I hope they're watching this broadcast, and I hope they're as shocked by these images, because this is just one of those instances where blood was not spilled. Everything else, the grounds were set, and this is just the first instance that's been caught on camera. I have understood from people who are involved in this business that this is not the only time this has happened. These brawls have taken place in at least 4 other pubs in recent weeks, and yet despite that, everybody just sitting around waiting for things to go wrong. That cannot be the attitude. You have to move and move proactively, not after 2 or 3 people have been murdered. We will chase the police commissioner and also the Lieutenant Governor and see what they want to do about all these unlicensed weapons that are being used currently. And as Captain Ravi says, the Mumbai commissioner has acted against illegal weapons on Mumbai streets. There's no reason why the Delhi's police commissioner cannot do this. For the time being, Dilip Cherian, Neelam Katara, Dr. Kiran Bedi and Captain Ravi for joining us in Center Stage tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're slipping into a break. News and updates continue when we come back on the other side.